I'll be able to hang in there.
What was the injury?
My knee.
Hey guys, Justin here, and what a disaster of a week 3 for the Green Bay Packers. In the last couple of videos, I kind of went drive by drive, giving some recap, thoughts, and opinions, but I don't think I need to do that for this video because for most stretches of this game, nothing really happened. Let's start with the good. The Packers defense played really well for the third straight game. They gave up 13 points on the scoreboard, but that was really only like 3 or 6 considering the field position after the turnover. Rashawn Gary had 2 sacks, and he's the league leader in sacks. And the Packers have yet to give up a touchdown in the first 3 quarters of each game. And that basically sums up everything that went well. I want to mention that Xavier McKinney had an interception, though it came at a bad time. This happened on a 4th down near midfield before the half. The Packers could have had a chance for a Hail Mary or a long field goal depending on the time if he just batted the ball down. Just a lack of focus in the moment. Moving on to the bad, and there is so much that I don't even know where to start. The Packers lost Zach Tom on their first play of the game. Jordan Morgan came in to play right tackle, and it was bad from the jump. I saw someone on Twitter say that Jordan Morgan cannot play on the right side of the offensive line, and it showed. He committed a number of penalties too. Not much longer later, the Packers lost Aaron Banks, though it was with a new injury. Morgan moved to left guard, and Anthony Belton came in to play right tackle. Overall, the offensive line play was horrible, and that's an understatement. The run blocking was very bad in the first 2 weeks of the season, and it was just as bad this week. Josh Jacobs is only averaging about 3 yards per carry, and I'd say it's predominantly an issue with the offensive line. Speaking of Josh Jacobs, he almost coughed up the ball late, and it honestly might have been better for the Packers considering what happened later in the game. The pass blocking was even worse than the run blocking today. Jordan Love basically had no time to throw all day long, and I get you were dealing with injuries, and the Browns have a very good defense which features Myles Garrett, but Matt LaFleur had 10 days to game plan, and they basically had no answer for the Browns' 4-man pass rush. They didn't even need to blitz. Moving on from the offensive line play to the offense in general, and oh boy was that bad too. Again, Matt LaFleur had 10 days to game plan, and they put up 10 points. Sure, it could have been 13, but that's not acceptable either. The Ravens just put up 41 on the Browns last week, and the Packers are supposed to be in the same tier as them, but they obviously are not. Though I wrote that sentence before what happened on Monday Night Football. I'm not expecting the Packers to put up 40 points against the Browns, but 20 plus would have been nice, and it would have made it a stress-free win. Matt LaFleur's play calling is not it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think he's a front runner. When it's going good, it's going great, but when it's bad, he has absolutely no response. Jordan Love also made a critical error with the late game interception, essentially allowing the Browns to tie the game up. It's just an inexcusable throw. Matt LaFleur took responsibility for the play call, but Jordan Love still has the ability to not throw it straight to a Browns defender. All I can do when thinking about this offensive performance is just shake my head. Calling it disappointment is an understatement. I also want to mention that I think like 90% of the losses in the Matt LaFleur era are the exact same where the offense completely no-shows in a road game, and it often leads to an uncompetitive loss. The only difference this time around is that they have a really good defense which held the Browns scoreless into the 4th quarter. The only other specific thing I want to mention regarding the offense is that there was too much Emmanuel Wilson in this game. I very much dislike not using Josh Jacobs, and the same could be said for Tucker Kraft and his backups. I don't know exactly if he was limited in snaps because of the knee injury, but he looked good, and I want them to utilize their best players. The special teams were awful in week 2, and they may have been even worse in week 3. There were probably a greater number of issues last week, but none were as big as the blocked field goal to essentially lose the game. Also, Matthew Golden is allergic to catching the ball on punts, and it just results in worse field position for the Packers. Just call up Trevor Davis and let him fair catch everything. I said this in my last week's review, and I'll say it again. Rich Bisaccia is the highest paid special teams coordinator in the NFL, and this special teams unit is horrible. I don't know how you could move forward with him on the coaching staff. Again, this has been an issue with Matt LaFleur in the last 7 or so years. He always hangs on to coaches way too long, and it's a detriment to the team. The Packers committed 14 penalties, and this is what a young, poorly coached team looks like. There was a major lack of focus on Sunday. Matt LaFleur always gets touted as a great head coach, but this team doesn't do the small things right, so I can't say I agree with that. I also think Matt LaFleur has leadership issues. Like I mentioned before, sometimes in these away games, the team comes out with no juice. I just don't get it. They head to Jerry's World next week in a Micah Parsons revenge game. The Packers have never lost at AT&T Stadium, and I am eagerly waiting for this game so the Packers can wash this past game out of their mouths.